Hey guys, it's Star the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin' Hippos. Today we're going to talk about stale inventory, and I hope y'all are ready for some tough love. There's going to be a lot of folks out there who may see this as an unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that because I think there's other people who would agree with me. And I've done the research. I have research behind what I'm about to say and the way I feel on it. My opinion and the advice I would give is not just something I'm pulling out of thin air or something I made up to justify my business model. This is something we have researched. So let's talk about stale inventory. This is mostly going to be about used clothing resellers. If you sell cell phones, electronics, anything else that flips fast typically, this really isn't going to apply to you because those items really do fly off the shelf and sell themselves. If you have a cell phone, even a broken cell phone that you're selling for parts, and it's still in your store after 3 weeks, you've either done something wrong with your title, maybe you need to check your keywords, maybe you priced it too high. But yes, there is certain inventory that absolutely should flip really fast, and within a month, maybe 2, would be considered stale. And those aren't the items that I'm really focusing on talking about today, but I did want to touch on that I do understand that not everything is long tail. Not everything takes a while to sell. And that, yes, there are plenty of items out there that can be considered stale within a month. Actually, the rule of thumb we follow with cell phones is, we start them priced high the way we do all of our inventory, but every week they don't sell, we lower the price by like $5 or $10 because it's too high and they should have sold already. So there are items that will go really quick and should sell themselves, and if they're not moving fast, then yes, you can absolutely consider it stale. And then you need to look at your listing and consider what you can do to maybe move it along, or maybe it's just something you need to take out of your store and get rid of a different way. Okay? But as far as used clothing, especially, that is long tail. And last week I put out the video, Unrealistic Expectations of Resellers, and I touched upon this briefly in that video. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below for you. I think that's full of a lot of tough love and good advice too, so I'll put it down there. But I touched on this a little bit, but not a lot. So today we are just focusing on, is your stale inventory really stale? And remember, I'm only talking about long tail and mostly clothing. You could put other long tail items in this opinion of mine, what I'm about to say, like plush and stuff like that. But here's the thing. I keep seeing over and over again, dozens of times a day, people are sourcing used clothing. They're listing it in their store, and within a week, within a couple days, they're posting in the Facebook groups, what's wrong with my listing? Why won't it sell? Because it shouldn't have yet. That's just the honest truth, you guys. And new resellers are coming into this with these expectations that you're going to go out to the thrift store, the yard sales, the estate sales, and buy these things. Put them in your store, and they're just going to sell overnight, and you're going to have all this money and this luxurious lifestyle, and that's just not how it is. Number 1, you need to be sourcing good stuff. Number 2, you need to make sure your photos are good and your keywords are good. It's not easy. It's not a magic way to just make tons of money. You can't just go buy items, throw them in your store willy-nilly, and expect them to sell and be a millionaire. That's not how it works. You have to make sure that you've done the research and you know what you're doing when you're sourcing. You have to put in the work on your listing. You have to stand out from everyone else. You have to have good photos, good keywords. Maybe you want to promote your listings, or do some of the things that eBay tells you are best practices, like maybe offer free returns or free shipping. There's a lot of things you can do to stand out to get your items higher in the search engine and get your stuff to sell faster. But at the end of the day, the 100% honest truth about clothing is it's long tail. And I consistently see new resellers freaked out and worried because their used clothing that are new listings aren't selling in 2 or 3 days. You guys, your jeans are not going to sell in a week or 2 weeks. It's just not how it works. And I really think that needs to be put out there because there's so much bad advice and misinformation out there. And these new resellers are taking it to heart. And they think that they're doing something wrong when things don't sell as fast as they expect them to. And I guess what I really want to get out there into the world is your expectations are wrong. That's all it is. You shouldn't give up. You're probably doing everything right. And if you're not, then go check your listings and make sure you have all of those things I just talked about. But you're not exactly doing anything wrong if your stuff isn't moving very quickly. The only thing you're doing wrong is having bad expectations. So if you're going to be a used clothing reseller and you're going to source these things and put them in your store, you need to do it with the expectation that most things are going to take up to 4.5 months to sell. And that is the bottom line. If your stuff doesn't sell within the first couple of days or the first month, guess what? That's normal. That's clothing for you. If you want to have items in your store that are going to sell within a week or sell within a month or sell really quickly, then used clothing is not for you. If you have patience and the willingness to sit on items and wait out their length of time, these long tail items, used clothing is for you. But if you want to put stuff in your store and have it sell right away, within a week, within a couple of weeks, used clothing is just not for you. You may want to rethink what you're sourcing and what you're flipping. Most clothes, like I said, are going to take up to 4.5 months to sell, and that's just how it is. There is nothing we can do to change that. Will there be flukes? Oh, absolutely. I've listed items before that I thought were going to sit for a couple of months that sold overnight or sold within a week or a couple of weeks. Every month I have stuff that sells before it's time to relist it after it's 30 days. It does happen. I'm not saying it never ever happens or that it's impossible. I'm trying to give you realistic expectations. So, yes. Sometimes you're going to list a pair of jeans that is the brand, the style, and the exact size Betty Lou in Arkansas has been looking for months, and no one else ever listed that exact style and that size with that inseam that Betty Lou needed. And she's going to see it within a couple of days of you putting it up, and she's going to buy it, and that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean the next pair of jeans in that brand that you put up are going to sell that fast. So, yes, it can happen. All the time it happens to everybody. We put stuff up and it sells really fast, a lot quicker than you think. And that's just because you're at the right place at the right time when someone is looking for that particular brand or style or size, and you just happen to put yours up and they saw it. But most of the time that's not going to happen. So if you go into this thinking that most of your items are going to take up to 4 months to sell and they sell quicker, then you're pleasantly surprised rather than disappointed. If you go in thinking they're going to sell within a couple of days or a week and they take months, you're going to be really disappointed. You're going to feel like you want to quit. You're going to feel like you're doing something wrong, and you're not. You're not. That's just how it is. And I don't want people to get disappointed, and I don't want people to be discouraged. I want you to do this realistically. And let me say this again because it's very important. If flipping items really fast is what you need to do, clothing is not for you. The solution to this is not to continue to sell clothing and sell yours at rock bottom prices, because then you're just tanking the market and you're ruining the market for other resellers. And I'm not talking about the fast nickel. See, to me, in my mind, the fast nickel is someone who prices it a couple bucks below everyone else. But that can also start that race to the bottom, which I really dislike, and you guys know that. I've said it before that the fast nickel is a viable way to run your business. I don't agree with it. I would never do it. I feel like my time spent listing my items is worth more than that. and I feel like I source items knowing what they're worth, and I don't want less than that for them. And then I put the time in to put them up. And yeah, you can get your stuff to sell a little bit quicker when you do that fast nickel, but you're also selling yourself short. You're not getting the full amount of worth out of an item. And when it comes to clothing, even doing the fast nickel, you're still looking at your stuff sitting for a little while. So my point was, the only way around sitting on your clothes forever is to come in and just start listing everything pell-mell, rock bottom prices, not even talking about fast nickel, just I'm going to sell all my stuff for real cheap like half of everyone else. Well, now you're not making your full potential. You're selling yourself short. You're not making the amount of money you could make. You could run into the possibility where you start just breaking even or losing money, and then you tank the market. There are many brands, many, I could say many 25,000 times, and I still have not expressed the full amount of how many brands have been tanked by this mentality, this philosophy of, I'll just list mine at rock bottom and they'll go faster. No, you just should resell something else, honestly. And I don't even care if that sounds rude, but that's how I feel. If you want to come in and tank a brand just to make your pennies and ruin it for all the resellers who have these items that are worth more than that, go sell something else. If you want that fast of a flip, get into something else. I understand that a lot of people start with clothing and a lot of people do clothing because, one, it's readily available. You can find it in any thrift store, flea market, yard sale, church sale, estate sale. Clothing is out there and it is readily available, and for the most part, it's really super cheap. It's a really low cost of good item to resell. But if you're not going to do it properly and price it what it's worth and understand that it's going to take a while to sell, then it's not for you. And I'm saying this for two reasons. One, I hate to see the market getting tanked all the time because people misunderstand long tail and don't know why their stuff isn't selling. So they just start lowering their prices, lower and lower and lower and lower until their stuff sells, because that's not how it works. It's clothing. Sit on it. It'll sell. And number two, they set themselves up with all these clothes in their store that they've invested all this money in, and it's not moving, and then they're discouraged and they're upset, and they feel like they're a failure, and I don't want anybody to feel like that either. So here's the thing. I said that we had research behind this, right? So Keith and I just released our 2019 clothing guide, and in that guide, if you're not familiar, you're not aware, if you didn't see the video where I had talked about our clothing guide, it has 195 brands. It is not a BOLO list. It is not a BOLO list. It has 195 brands. It gives you the average sell-through rate on them, the average time it takes to sell, and the average price it sells for, plus what you should pay for it, what should be the most you should pay for it when you source it. And we do have in that clothing guide things broken down on the average time they take to sell. And so, yeah, it's not a BOLO list. It just kind of gives you an idea of what is a BOLO. Some of them are no-lows. Some of them are bread and butter. But it kind of gives you an idea. You can look at any one of these brands to see the average cost they sell for and how long they take. Here's the thing. Out of 195 brands in that clothing guide, guess how many sell within a month to 4.5 months on the regular basis? Not those flukes I was talking about. Not those, one-offs where you've listed it at the right time and right place and Betty Lou bought it. I'm talking about brands that you can consistently list time after time and expect them to sell within a month to 4.5 months. Out of 195 brands, 11 brands out of 195 will sell fast. And that's not even the entire brand. Within a lot of those 11, it's like the men's jeans will sell quickly within a month to 4.5 months, and the women's jeans take longer. So when I say 11 brands, I'm not saying everything in that brand or each type of clothing within that brand. It's something specific in that brand that moves fast. So that leaves us with 184 other brands that take longer than 4.5 months to sell. And the brands we have on the list range anywhere from the really high designer top dollar brands all the way down to the bad brands you probably shouldn't be sourcing and everything in between. It's not just one type. It has top dollar and bottom dollar all across the board. And out of all of them, there's 11. So that should tell you something. I keep seeing over and over again where people are saying, well, if my items don't sell within 2 months or within 3 months, I'm just getting rid of them. I'm pulling them out of my store and taking them to a consignment shop or a yard sale or redonating them back for the write-off. But guess what? Out of 195 brands that we researched, 184 of them take 4.5 or longer months to sell. So you pull them out at 2 months, you haven't even given them the right amount of time to sell. You just haven't. You haven't even given them a chance. You gave them half of a chance. You gave them half of their lifetime to sell and you pull them. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a big wake-up call for a lot of people. Your clothing in general is going to take 4.5 months or longer to sell. Will some sell faster? Absolutely. Will you have certain times when you list stuff and it sells really quickly? Absolutely. Because for every brand and every style and every size and every color and every season, there's somebody looking for that item that you have because they either are just online shopping and you list it at the right moment and they see it, or there's somebody that really likes that brand and that style and can never find it in their size and you're the one that finally lists it. So absolutely, there will be stuff that will sell quickly. But to be realistic, you guys need to think that most of your clothes are going to take 4 months or longer to sell. Most of them take 4.5 to 9 months. And then there's some brands that we found while we were researching for our guide that take longer than 9 months. And those are ones that are just super oversaturated and none of us should probably be sourcing anyway. And there's not very many of them. The majority of the brands fall in the 4.5 to 9 month period. And these are ones that probably are a little saturated and just take a while because they're not as sought after. The 11 brands that fall in the super fast category are brands that are really rare, harder to find. A lot of us aren't seeing when we're outsourcing so they're not saturated. There's not a lot of them out there. And one of the examples I'll give you guys is the Untuck It. That's a relatively really good brand, but I've never seen it in the wild, and I really don't think I know anybody who has ever seen it in the wild. I've seen a couple of people in Facebook groups that I don't know post that they have found it, but I've seen that maybe twice. Like, in the past couple of years, maybe 2 times I've ever seen somebody say they found Untuck It. So that would be why that's one of those 11 brands that's going to sell really fast, because there's just not a lot of it online, and people that want it are buying it up as fast as people can list it because it's not being found as much, if that makes sense. So like I said, this is probably going to be a huge wake-up call for a lot of you that are already flipping used clothing or thinking about getting into reselling with used clothing. The majority of the items that you're going to source and put into your store, you need to do that with the assumption it's going to take 4 months or longer to sell. Bottom line. Some things will go quick. I've had things sell really fast that were in the 9 month or longer category. Some of the brands that we researched for our guide, the ones I said that are really oversaturated, takes not longer than 9 months to sell. None of us should be sourcing. I remember back in the beginning when we didn't know what we were doing, we were sourcing some of those brands, and some of those even sold really fast. Because again, like I said, right place, right time, right person looking, anything will sell quickly. But when it comes to used clothing, it is long tail. It is going to take a while to sell. So if you list an item that is used clothing and it's been a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you shouldn't start freaking out and asking everybody and their brother why it isn't selling. You should not start lowering the price to rock bottom prices and tanking it and just freaking out and trying to get rid of it. And definitely don't pull it out of your store and give up on it. I would definitely recommend lowering your prices just a tiny bit over time. We do ours like 5% once a month. We run sales. We have deals where people can get 25% off of $25 or more. And you'd be surprised at how many times people take advantage of that. They'll buy 2 or 3 or 4 items and to get that sale, to get that extra discount. And then some of those items might have been newer and might flip faster because you offer the sales. So there are ways to get it to move faster, but you just got to go in with the assumption 4 months. Anything before that, if you're rock bottoming out the prices or pulling it and getting rid of it, then here's your tough love for the day. If that's your mentality, you need to get out of clothing. You need to go flip something else. If you don't have the patience for long tail, you need to not do long tail. Bottom line. Now, this is not to say that I don't agree with lowering your prices. Like I said, we do ours a little bit at a time. You guys can run sales and, offer it at a quote-unquote rock bottom price for a limited time, like for a weekend or a holiday sale or whatever you want to do. But I wouldn't do it permanently. And then, of course, when stuff reaches like 6 to 9 months old, then you can start looking at it as stale and thinking about how you can move it. Can you drop the price at that point? A lot of our items that are like 6 to 9 months old, we'll put in our auctions to liquidate them. And the reason we do that, I'll give you this little tidbit in case this is something you guys want to do. There are people who understand long tail and do wait the full 6 to 9 months until it's like stale, and they pull the items, and you can redonate them for a tax write-off. You can sell them in a yard sale or consignment shop. But the reason we do ours in auctions to liquidate them is because it gets extra traffic and eyeballs in your store. So all of our stuff on auction for 99 cents. It has $6.50 shipping on it. Most of those items we are making $1 or $2. And keep in mind that our cost of goods is 99 cents most times. Shipping has gone up with the post office since the beginning of the year, but for the most part, we make like $1 or we break even. But again, that's stuff that's like 9 months or older. That is 100% considered stale. It's not moving after 9 months. Then it's either just not going to move and it's stale inventory, or it's one of those brands that I said takes longer than 9 months and we probably shouldn't have sourced in the first place. And so at that point, instead of just taking it out and donating it, we run these 99-cent auctions with $6.50 shipping on it, so the total is $7.50 unless more than one person bids. We do that so that we can break even, get our cost of goods back, but instead of donating for the write-off, we're bringing traffic to our store. And more traffic means more active. An active store is a happy store. It pleases Cassini. All those good things start rolling when your store is active. So auctions are a way to get activity to your store. You get more eyeballs in your store. If someone sees that you have something for 99 cents and they go look at it, there is a chance that they might, on the bottom, where it shows other items by that seller, they might click on that. They might go to your actual store. They might buy something else. I've even had people win 3 or 4 auctions, like one person won 3 or 4 auctions on more than one occasion. They'll just keep bidding on them because they think it's a good deal. Well, if they buy 4 shirts, they've now paid like $30 and we've made out because they've paid that $6.50 shipping on each shirt and it doesn't cost that much to ship it. So I just wanted to put that out there. There is a time when it is stale and you really should do something about it and take care of it. And we do have items in our store that are sitting at $9 and $8 or on 99-cent auctions. Those are our stale items. Those are our items that are like 9 months or longer. They've been around forever. You can even look at some of our auctions and see that it was before the white background, before we had lighting. The photos are bad. They're horrible. It's just stuff that we made mistakes on. Bad pictures. We just want to get rid of it. Or brands or styles or items that we just never should have picked up in the first place, but we did. And instead of pulling it out of the store, we're trying to get it to get more traffic and bring eyes to our store. So even though it's a bad item or a stale item, it can still work for us. So that being said, I just wanted to I just wanted to come on today and really talk about stale inventory, because I do, like I said, I see people after a couple of days, a couple of weeks, wanting to know why their stuff isn't selling. I see people pulling clothes after a couple of months, and I know in my mind from the research that we've done, those are brands that take like 4 months to sell. There's not very many that are going to sell fast. So keep that in mind if you want to be a used clothing reseller or continue on the road as a used clothing reseller. I've done the research. Most brands take 4 months to sell. That's just how it is. If you want to have a really successful store, you want to get a mix of everything. Because again, that brings more traffic and more chances of a sell. So if you also have plush or electronics or video games or media or books or glassware or collectibles or anything else that you can find, you can get a good mix in your store of fast, medium, and long tail. I don't even think fast tail is a word, but what I'm trying to say is you get a good mix in your store. Fast flips, long tail, and then the medium flips, and high prices, medium prices, and low prices. And once you get a good mix of all of the different lengths of time it takes stuff to sell and the price point, you'll start to see more sales and you'll see more traffic. And while you're waiting for your long tail items to sell, your faster items will start selling. And then over time, as you build up the amount of listings you have, you will start to see daily sales. So even if you have all long tail in your store, say you had all clothes, after a while you get enough listings that every day you're going to have sales regardless if it's all long tail. But I absolutely recommend having a little bit of everything. Get some fast flips, get some medium ones, some long tail, get some items that sell for really high, get those bread and butter ones that are like medium grade, and on your actual stale items, make those prices a little bit lower. You have a good mix of everything, you will absolutely see a lot of activity and you will see sales every day. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. If you disagree with my opinion, because I know that a lot of people will think it's unpopular to say to sit on items for more than 4 months, quote unquote, I'm in the business of selling, not storage. Feel free to, express your opinion down below. Just be respectful, be an adult. We can have a conversation about it. We can express our different viewpoints about it, and that's fine. Not everyone has to agree in the entire world. Not everyone ever is going to all agree in the entire world. Everyone has different opinions and different experiences. So I don't mind if you disagree with me. Just be respectful about it, please. Be an adult, and everybody can express their different views about this. But I will say that Keith and I did a lot of research for that clothing guide, and based on the sell-through rates of clothing, most of it's not going to sell before 4 months. Do me a favor, guys, smash that like button before you leave. If you would, I appreciate it. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin' Hippos. Until next time, you guys have a good night. I missed my straw. Bye, guys.